Welcome to everyone for our first International School Meals Day workshop. We're so lucky to have the chance to look at which plant-based dishes children are having for lunch internationally and to raise awareness of planet-friendly eating. Just a quick reminder to everyone who's just joined, this will be recorded so you can come back and enjoy it later on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and also you can share the link with anyone you like. Please add your thoughts. Your comments are really important to us and we love to have your questions. So just in the chat at the side, we'll be monitoring that to see what you think about everything. A very quick recap of what ProVeg is. We are a non-profit food awareness organisation with offices in 12 countries. And here in the UK, the School Plates programme aims to make school food healthier, better for the planet and more affordable through our work with school caterers, councils, local authorities and individual schools. We're now at the moment where we've turned 14.5 million meals to meat-free or plant-based. You can applaud in your own time. We work with a quarter of local authorities in the UK, and we have 1 million children enjoying dishes we've worked to develop with our inspirational partners. So that's quite a lot of dishes to be washing up at the end of those meals. We're here to support you with our workshops, our recipes, our consultations, and we don't charge for our time. So do remember to send in your menu to achieve an award with us. It's all free. It's a win-win situation. You've got nothing to lose. And also we have a new recipe book that's about to launch. So watch this space. ProVeg has always been about connecting the food on our plate with the rest of the planet. And today's workshop really gets to the heart of what we love to do. So as ever, we're thrilled to share these low carbon, highly nutritious and delicious recipes from our wonderful guests, but particularly so because they're enjoyed by children around the world. I'd like to hand over to Colette, who heads the School Plates programme and also founded the phenomenally successful global plant-based school food network.
Thank you, Alex. That's a very glowing introduction. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Colette. Lots of you will probably know me or we've probably spoken before, but I just wanted to quickly tell you what the Global Plant-Based School Food Network is. So we set it up last summer, and the idea was to bring together organisations like ProVeg with the School Plates programme who are working to reduce animals in school meals around the world and increase the plant-based dishes. So we've grown the network to organizations from 40 countries now, and we meet every couple of months across 18 time zones, which is getting crazier each time. So we range from California through to Japan, all and everywhere in between. And we come together to help each other with what we're working on, what's working, what's not working, so that we can do this work more quickly all over the world. And I'm delighted that we're joined today by two of our global network members. We have Innocent Nabasa, who is in Uganda, and we've got Tayana Oliveira in Brazil. And I'm going to hand over to Innocent in Uganda to just tell us a bit about school food in Uganda and what you're doing there, and maybe a little bit about your dish that's coming up, and then we'll pass on to Tayana. Thank you. Over to you, Innocent.
Thank you so much, Colette, and the whole team from School Plates. I do appreciate. First, I apologize, my video is off. Yeah, so I'm Innocent Nawasa from Uganda, and we are currently conducting a vegan school lunch campaign. And basically what I can talk about school lunch in Uganda is there isn't much guidelines out there, you know. It's more like schools deciding on what to feed their children. And mostly in rural schools, usually 80–90% of the dishes are usually vegan, but not balanced. I could say it's usually posho or ugali, or which you could call maize bread and beans. That's what they mainly eat. And then like once a week, there is a special meal. But then in urban schools, almost on a daily, there is a piece of meat. There is an egg. There is or it's completely meat, or there is milk and all that. So that's how it's like. And schools, we don't have, I could say, that guidelines, which are official by the government. So schools usually decide on what to feed their children. And like I said, most time it's not even a balanced diet, because if it's basically maize and beans, so you basically have carbs and proteins. Yeah, so what we do during vegan school lunch, we usually look out for, because we're currently working in within urban schools, we look out for, we do our research and understand the kinds of meals that they're having, and then we pick out schools which we believe we could, target them or could implement our project in, and share with them the idea of going plant-based or including healthy plant-based meals in their diets. Which many usually welcome, because when we are talking about this, we tell them we're doing it for the health of the children, for nutrition purposes, of course, and of course for compassion towards animals, and also environmental benefits. These are facts that schools are really interested in. Schools are interested in healthy children, parents as well interested in healthy children. And most of these decisions are made by schools, sometimes without even consultation, with the parents. But sometimes when it comes to some urban schools and international schools, they tend to inform the parents about change of plan. So we've, like here, we hardly face any resistance. They're usually welcome. And we try to talk to the schools about growing their own food, because Uganda has quite good climate and fertile soils, and most foods easily grow here. So for the schools that have some land or can practice backyard gardening, we encourage them, we support them, or we train them on how they can grow their own food, grow their own beans, grow their own pumpkins, grow their own potatoes, grow their own avocados, grow their own mangoes. And most schools have welcomed this. And some have actually embraced it and started working on it. But then we don't just do that. What's more important is the common plant-based foods here are basically usually groundnuts, peas, and beans, which tend to be boring because these are just like 3 foods. So we try to teach them how they can make their foods more tasty, because children love tasty food, children love colorful food. So one of the special dishes that they've really enjoyed and really embraced is coconut beans, which I believe will be shared and prepared later today. So it's one of the foods that have really been embraced and really loved. And I'm not going into details because I know we're going to have a cooking session with the coconut beans. But in summary, that's what it's like. And sometimes, of course, we inform like the district education officers, we inform the inspector of schools about our projects, because our desire is, if they are part of it, it can easily be, incorporated even in the schools that we are not working in. So in summary, that's it about Uganda. And you can ask me any questions.
Thank you, Innocent. That's amazing. We're dying to try your dish. We're not going to get to try it, but at least we get to see it, and I'm sure it'll be delicious. I'm going to hand over to Tiana in Brazil, who works for HSI Brazil, and she's going to tell us a bit about school food in Brazil and what HSI are doing. And you can tell us a bit about your dish if you want as well, Tiana. Thank you.
Everyone, first, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here with you. So in Brazil, we follow the National School Feeding Program. We call it PNAE. And as a guide, so schools cannot include like ultra-processed foods with added sugar, and this is a more recent regulation. And at least 30% of the public purchase have to be made by city halls through family farming. So this is a important aspects in the way we work here in Brazil. And we have a team of nutritionists who calculate and create the menus, and they have to reach like 30% of the daily nutritional recommendations for a student who stays at school part-time, who normally eat like 2 meals at school. And this also includes like indigenous and quilombola communities. and 70% of the recommendations for students who stay at school full time. So this means that these students usually stay all day long in the schools, and they eat like 3 or 4 meals at school. So every time when we have new menus included, we have the acceptability test, and this test is conducted by the nutritionists from the City Hall. And these recipes must achieve 85% of acceptance to remain the population in the menu. The most commonly used method is the hedonic scale, where the students write their preference, and these results need to be achieved by the sum of 2 classifications, like it and love it, and the students fill this hedonic scale in the moment they are eating at school. And another way that I think it's interesting for you know that we do this acceptability test in Brazil, the nutritionists do it, is the tests by measuring the remaining intake of preparations, which are weighted using a scale. So that way we could see if the preparation needs to be adjusted. And this is the way usually the nutritionist works here in Brazil with the preparations. So different than Uganda, we have like this very specific guideline, and we need to follow all these rules when we are implementing like a plant-based program or whatever we want to implement as a different menu in the schools. So also, like we have the menus that I think it's important to mention that these menus are created originally, including typical recipes and ingredients from each region in Brazil. You will know like feijoada. Feijoada is a very traditional dish in Brazil and usually is made with black beans and meat. And we will made like the chef will made an amazing recipe. I hope you like it. That we made some adjustments for you, because usually in Brazil, we made in the schools only with vegetables to replace. We don't have like tofu as something that normally they use in schools. So we made a little bit changes, but it's also a feijoada that we usually eat in Brazil. And this is really important. So we always, when we are considering to implement a plant-based adoption, we also consider it all these aspects, like which recipe is regional, which ingredients, to make sure we are doing something respecting the culture there. And it's important also to mention that we have 47 million students in the school network in Brazil. So it's huge. And as you can see, like school feeding programs plays a fundamental role in food and nutritional security as well. So just to finalize, we run a program that encourages the consumption of more sustainable and plant-based foods in public schools. And we partially replace 20% of the animal sources foods with plant-based. So that way we are able to include greater diversity of foods in students' diets, and different recipes and ingredients that we sometimes don't have in the bidding. And with this program, we already are presented in 6 states of the country and in 9 municipalities, including like large capitals like Salvador, Belo Horizonte, and Belém. And I think this is very excited because Belém will be the city that will host COP30 next year. So we are very excited to show you as a study case this project there. And we are working here in Brazil in coalition with 2 NGOs, Mercy for Animals and the Brazilian Vegetarian Society. That's why we can work with so many municipalities at the same time. And our current impact in these partnerships is more than 17 million plant-based meals per year. And annually, we are impacting like more than 326,000 students, and we are sparing approximately 35,000 tons of CO2 equivalents. and around 10,000 hectares of agricultural land and more than 156 million liters of water. And I think it's important to mention that we are calculating all this environmental impact using data that the municipalities provided to us. So they sent all these informations, and then we made these calculations following their implementation process. So that's it. It's a short way to explain how it works here in Brazil, but I'm really open to answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Tayana. That's amazing. I mean, just wow, two fabulous programs, two completely different programs, but you're going to get to see a little bit about what this food looks like. I will thank you both. If anyone has any questions, please pop them in the chat and we can ask as we go along, if you think of something as we go along. I will hand back to Alex, who's going to tell you what the recipes are. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Colette. And that was amazing hearing live from you both about how it works, and so different across both of the countries. And we're really looking forward to seeing these dishes. So apart from being delicious, it's worth noting that these fresh and healthy recipes don't need a blender, and they are one-pot dishes. Polly and I were discussing them earlier. So here they come. They are the Ugandan red bean and coconut stew is first, and then we'll have the Brazilian smoky black bean and pumpkin feijoada, and then we'll have the tomato and pepper salad, greens with garlic, and to finish a fresh fruit salad. So we have a little poll for you first of all. Do you take part in International School Meals Day? Is it yes? Is it no? Or were you not aware of it? Let's see what everyone says. It has already passed. I believe it was the 14th of March. But we're still celebrating. We have 45% were not aware of it. 27, the other half is split between 27% no and 27% of you said yes, you do celebrate it. It'd be really interesting to hear what kinds of meals you put on for that, if you want to comment in the chat. Anyway, it's time to introduce our workshop leader chef today, the wonderful Polly, coming to us all the way from Scotland. So hi, Polly, let me hand over to you.
Hi everyone. Wow, what an introduction, and yeah, the biggest thank you, Innocence and Tayana, for joining us for the workshop, for sharing the news about school food in your countries, and for sharing recipes that I'm going to demonstrate today. As Alex said, yeah, my name is Polly Higginson and I am the chef trainer at School Plates. I run these monthly online workshops where we look at different plant-based recipes, and then I also help deliver our in-person training where we come out and train your catering teams in plant-based cookery. So as Alex said, we're going to start with the Ugandan red bean and coconut stew that Innocent has shared the recipe for. And Innocent gave me a very kind of loose recipe, which I loved because it's just based on these very, very fresh key ingredients that obviously you have in abundance in Uganda. And we have kind of adapted here because we believe that these dishes will work really, really well on school menus in the UK, and a really, really fun and educational opportunity for children to try dishes, to think globally about what's on their plate. And this all really ties in with International School Meals Day, but also what we want children to be getting from their school lunch every day of the year. And we're just sharing some slides of the Innocent has sent us of the stew being served up at lunchtime to school children in Uganda. So I'm going to begin with that recipe. So I'm going to introduce the ingredients of that dish. So we're going to be doing it with red beans, red kidney beans. And Innocent, we can ask you about this. I think traditionally or generally you would use yellow beans, but we're going with the red kidney beans here, which is another kind of popular bean that is used. So we've got our nutritious, delicious, soft kidney beans. And in this recipe, Innocent started off by telling us that the beans are obviously cooked from scratch, so soaked the day before for a couple of hours or even overnight, and then cooked the next day so that they cook a lot quicker. And again, we did a workshop on cooking with beans and pulses at the beginning of the year, where we kind of went through preparing them from scratch. So obviously works really, really well in a school kitchen to prepare them from scratch, and kind of saves you money, reduces packaging and things like that as well. So really good. But you can also use tinned beans as well if that is more convenient for you. So we have our red kidney beans, and then we have here a bowl, a lovely fresh selection of vegetables. So in this recipe, Innocent suggested fresh tomatoes, carrots and red peppers, but I believe it's the kind of dish that you know, you could substitute or use different vegetables in depending what you have or kind of seasonality. But again, this is a really lovely combination that I know would always be really popular with children. They're sweet and crunchy and colourful as well. So we've got our beans, our vegetables, garlic, fresh garlic and ginger. So fresh garlic and ginger is going to bring the flavour into the dish. And again, just really lovely to be using fresh herbs going in there. And then we've got the kind of star key ingredient, the coconut. Now, in Uganda, obviously, fresh coconut being an ingredient that is around and available to use, we're going to use coconut milk, tinned coconut milk, and I'm also using some desiccated coconut as well, which I've soaked in water just to give that nice coconutty texture as well. And it's another kind of store cupboard ingredient that can be used, you know, to give for the coconut flavour. So I'm gonna Innocent, if are you there? Does that all sound?
Yes. That's
All
okay.
sound
That's
good?
fine. Spot on.
Brilliant. Okay. So I'm gonna take a pot and put that on the heat.
And whilst you're doing that, shall I jump in with a fact or two, which you all probably
Yes.
know?
Go
Kidney
on.
beans are rich in vitamin B1, which contributes to healthy cognitive functions and memory. So very good thing to be having at school.
Yeah, and you know, I think we often use kidney beans in this country, you know, in our chilies, not always, but you know, they kind of, we don't use them maybe as widely as we could. And making this dish and trying it, I was reminded how creamy they are actually, how soft they are if you're cooking them for a long time. They're really, really fun shape, you know, so yeah, it's nice to see them kind of used in a slightly different dish. So I'm going to pop in here as well. I've got red onion, which I cooked down a little bit earlier just to speed things up a little bit. So I'm popping that in at the base of the dish. And then bringing in the fresh garlic and ginger.
So everyone's smelling this now, Polly. Everyone
Yeah,
smell it
it's
wafting
really,
through their
really good.
screens.
And like I said, just having the coconut here as well on my counter this afternoon. Yeah, just smell wonderful. So I'm just getting that going. But yeah, I love this dish because of the very simple but strong flavours in it. So yeah, the garlic and ginger, so that's sizzling away. And then I'm going to add in these vegetables just to cook down a little bit.
And of course, it's less expensive to use beans in your dishes, is going to cut costs compared to things like corn. So if you can substitute some bean dishes during the week, it will end up helping to keep those costs down.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I'm talking to a lot of caterers and our partners. They're always looking for new recipe ideas. You know, we have, you know, like fresh curries and things on UK school menus. But again, you know, getting a dish from Uganda or a dish from Brazil, again, it's just such an opportunity to educate children about different dishes from around the world and get them excited about that, and that they're, you know, having the same meal as you know, a child in school in Uganda or Brazil. So yeah, really great opportunity to kind of learn you know, about the kind of international connections that, you know, that we share, and yeah, how important our school food is. So I'm just getting those vegetables cooked down, just getting the flavour going, and then I'm going to add in all of the beans. And then the coconut. So I've got, yeah, 400 mils of like coconut milk, which is going to go in. And then my desiccated coconut as well, which again just kind of really can thicken the sauce and give a really nice coconutty texture as well. And then I'm just gonna get a little bit of water and just add that to cover the beans and the vegetables. And I'm gonna add some salt. Another thing that both of the recipes that I was sent, you know, again, just seasoned with salt and the fresh herbs and spices, and no kind of veg stocks or things that we tend to use a lot in the UK. So that was really interesting as well. Just really, really, really fresh and simple. So I'm going to show you what the pot looks like if you can't see. Okay.
We're all leaning in, Polly.
Coconuts, beans, the vegetables. And I'm going to pop the lid onto this now.
On that one pot?
Yeah, and cooked in one pot. And I'm going to, where's my lid? Pop that to the back. Oh, here it is. And let that simmer away. And we'll come back to that in kind of 20 minutes or so once it's had time to kind of cook. And yeah.
Oh, Polly, we got a question about which spices are used in this dish.
So this has just got garlic and fresh ginger. So I put in yeah, fairly kind of 10 grams of both. So yeah, it's just that kind of subtle flavour, and then with the coconut and vegetables as well. So quite mild and creamy. But I don't know, Innocent, did you want to say anything about any other kind of spices or herb kind of ingredients that you might use in seasoning stews and dishes?
Thanks, Polly. And yeah, so basically it's up to how you want to play around with your herbs and spices. You could add carrots, you could because you already used bell peppers, you could add the yellow ones, the green ones, onions. I saw you had garlic, you had ginger. So play around with your herbs and spices. If you have rosemary, if you have like all the spices that you can afford. But also you have to be careful because these are children. You don't want it to be very spicy. And it's also good to keep it affordable. So the spices that are affordable and those that are within your reach, but like be as much as creative as you can. So that's what I can say. The spices that are within your reach, the spices that you can use, and the spices that Polly has used, they are really amazing, and they're gonna bring out the real flavor, because the major spice here is the coconut and the beans. So the rest, just work around what you have. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, okay, brilliant. No, thanks for sharing that with us. And yeah, like I said, that is really what comes through in the dish, is like the coconut, the beans, and then just those other subtle warming flavors. So yeah, really, really good for the children. Right, we're going to move on to the Brazilian dish now.
Shall we have the second poll
Yeah, we're
question?
going to have our second poll question. Yeah.
It's poll time, everyone. Get your fingers ready. Here it comes. Do you provide a planet-friendly dish as part of International School Meals Day? And if you do, either way, what sort of thing do you provide? We'd love to know. Let's see, the poll results are in, and most people don't provide a planet-friendly dish yet as part of International School Meals Day. 75% of you, and the other 25% of you do provide a planet-friendly dish. So that might perhaps be something, you know, worth thinking about, whether there's something you could include for that day that might be a new taste with some new flavors and a different experience for the children to be excited about, that might also be good for the planet. Okay, we ready for our Brazilian feijoada? Just like saying.
So we're showing, Tayana sent us the recipe for this delicious black bean stew that she talked about. So the key ingredients, being the black beans, and then a really lovely selection of vegetables, fresh vegetables. Now, I didn't realize that the tofu, I think, had been added in, you know, something that we might like to try here using in the UK, and perhaps they don't use that in Brazil as much, but we did the workshop on tofu a couple of workshops ago, and our new recipes that are coming out, we have some tofu workshops in there, and we're really keen to kind of get across what a versatile and brilliant ingredient it is to use in more school recipes. So it's really great to be using that, a combination of that today as well. So the black beans, I've got here, and I roasted them earlier because Tayana's recipe kind of, you cooked them off in batches. So we've got butternut squash here, but generally I think in Brazil they just use pumpkins. Got mushrooms, so bringing a lot of flavour in. A lot of flavour from the mushrooms, and then aubergine as well. And I felt like mushrooms and aubergines, again, I generally, you know, a slightly more sophisticated taste, some might say, for children. But I thought it was really great that they included them in this dish. And actually, when I tried the dish, because the aubergine breaks down so much, and the pumpkin as well, and it just really kind of thickens the sauce. And then the mushrooms bring a lot of flavour, and they all blend in with the black beans. So it's actually really nice to see a different kind of selection of vegetables. And then garlic, fresh garlic, and then the spices that I'm using here is ground cumin, and then smoked paprika, and quite a lot of it. So just bringing that lovely smoky taste in. Fresh herb is also another feature of this dish. So fresh coriander, fresh parsley, and spring onions. So a little bit of those going in as well, which is, again, just really lovely to use fresh herbs in the menu. So I'm just starting off here, pan with oil, similar to the other stew. I've cooked my onions down already, and I'm just going to pop those in. Just speed things up a little bit. Sizzling away.
And pumpkin has plenty of vitamins A, C, E, and potassium, which I know you use squash instead, but it's a similar beta-carotene, great to include in their diet on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's just that whole eat the rainbow thing, isn't it, Alex? And getting a whole mixture of different kinds of vegetables, the spices, the fresh herb, and then, you know, using beans in both of these dishes as the kind of the protein source, and the kind of the building blocks of the dish. So yeah, really exactly the kind of dishes that we really love, and are really keen for children to try when they're at school to be part of their lunch menu. Sorry, it's a little bit noisy with all the sizzling, but that's all the vegetables going in.
Oh, that's all right. I just remind everyone that most children in the UK are deficient in fibre, so anything you can do to introduce a bit more fibre in their daily lunch is going to be a good thing, and protect their health.
And then I'm going in with my black beans, which again, Tiana had, the beans were cooked from scratch, soaked overnight, and then cooked in a pressure cooker. So yeah, not using kind of tin beans, but just using the kind of raw ingredient. And now just gonna top that up with the water. Just water to kind of cover the beans and the vegetables. And I'm going to go in with my spices. Again, using salt, teaspoon of salt to go in. And more garlic.
We could have had background music.
Right.
Next time, everyone. This is going to happen every year, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a really, I mean, for me, that's one of the things I absolutely love about my job and working at kind of ProVeg is getting that global perspective and linking up with what we're doing here in the UK, just getting that inspiration and from other projects and recipes as well. So yeah, I would love it if this was a core on our calendar. I'm going to just chop up some spring onions, just a little bit of spring onions. The coriander and the parsley, just a little bit. And there was a lovely translation of this from Tiana. These herbs were called green smell. And I think what when I looked it up, it was the fragrance from these what they bring. So yeah, they're very kind of fragrant green herbs going in. In they go. Okay, and I'm going to just pop the lid on this dish as well and pop it to the back. And I'm going to just show you the tofu pieces quickly again, because it's just interesting. I know quite a lot of our caterers don't really use tofu and aren't as kind of confident cooking with it. And so just to show you again how easy and versatile it is and how it can work into a dish like this. And then obviously the thing that we love about using tofu is, it's a minimally processed ingredient and it is completely nutritious in terms of providing protein, calcium and iron, takes on flavour really, really well. And it's all about just getting to know it, and it's all the possibilities in terms of texture and flavours that you can add to it. So we've got two tofus here, smoked and fresh. And this is what Tiana had put down in the recipe. And the smoked obviously has a really lovely flavour and it's bringing that smoky taste into the dish. It's a little bit more expensive than the fresh, so we're using half and half. And I'm just chopping that up into cubes. Again, we looked at before that kind of process of marinating it and things, but we're going to just keep this quite simple. The tofu, I'm going to put a little bit of the paprika and salt with it, and we're just going to kind of crispen it up in the pan. You can also do this in the oven, on an oven tray, and just kind of roast it. But I just was going to show you, and again, you're just getting that really nice texture, these chunks into it. Just pop that in. And some salt. And a sprinkling of the paprika. And I'm just going to let that sizzle away.
And there are lots of things you can do with tofu, aren't there, Polly? I mean, you can grate it and you know, there's silken
There are
and this is
so
firm
many
tofu and
do.
yeah.
Yeah, grate it, blend it, roast it, marinate it, and we've got our egg and no egg mayo tofu recipe
Absolutely.
well, so many things. So yeah, really keen to kind of encourage more people to put it on the menu. So I'm just going to let that tofu crispen up in the pan. I've got the 2 stews on, they're just going to simmer away, and I'll serve them up at the end of the workshop. But I'm going to look at 2 more dishes that Tiana sent to me. So the tomato and yellow pepper kind of salady, crunchy salsa that goes on the side of the black bean stew. And it's really, really simple. But I just think, again, it's all about colour and texture. So yeah, this is a really, really, really simple dish that, again, I think children would really, really enjoy on the side of their stew. So I'm going to just prepare this. So I've got yellow pepper. Sorry, Alex.
Sorry, Polly. Whilst you're doing that, shall we have the 3rd poll?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll start chopping these.
We'll do that, and we can watch you chopping at the same time. I know you can all multitask. Do you think children make the link between their school food choices and the rest of the planet? What do you think? Do you see people choosing things that they know might be good for them and the rest of the planet, or not really? Interesting. It's really interesting. 75% of you don't really think they make that link there, and 25% of you think that they do. You'll be very excited to know that Martin, our education manager, just started this week. So he's going to be on that. He'll be working away on that and developing that program. So watch this space for more education for children about these food choices and the rest of the planet and how they can eat well for themselves and everyone else.
Yeah, really interesting to get the results of that poll. And yeah, I think, like I was saying, you know, these kind of dishes of international school meals, they're the perfect chance to kind of do that wider education and get children excited about coming together to all have one dish that day, and everybody's going to have it, and it's going to be something different. And they're going to learn about the other culture where that dish is prepared, and see the similarities, you know, with things that we have here in the UK.
Feel that connection, isn't it?
It's that connection for them. So I'm just speedily slicing away here. I've got lovely chunky tomatoes, and I'm just going to chop the pepper up as well.
Did you have cherry? Are they cherry tomatoes or little?
So they're just regular, big kind of juicy salad tomatoes, but you could go cherry tomatoes, any size would be fine. I think the thing is just getting a nice kind of texture and shape, and like I said, just to go against like the stew. So that's the pepper.
And again, all that vitamin C in those peppers.
Yeah.
And you've got the greens with garlic.
Yeah.
Just packing a punch. Yeah.
So lovely salad. Let's put that to the side.
Michael says it's about having food on the school curriculum more to educate children about different foods, and not enough is being done in the schools. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, to fitting it into the curriculum.
So good. I'm just going to come back and show you, and I'm going to turn this up. I'm happy with my tofu now, but that has got lovely kind of, it smells really lovely and smoky and crispy chunks of tofu. They're going to go into the stew as well, and into the black bean stew. And I'll just turn the pan off and let that kind of little away at the side. So tomatoes, peppers, fresh lemon juice.
And Louis says that, oh, unfortunately, food has one paragraph in the entire curriculum. I mean, it's so difficult being a caterer, trying to come in and, you know, educate children in the small chunk of time you've got with them. You rush in and rush out. And we're really particularly interested to hear all about this. So do tell us. We want to know.
That is, again, those same herbs that we used in the stew as well. A little bit of fresh coriander, parsley, and spring onion as well. So just a lovely, fresh, colourful salad, salsa kind of salad that will go alongside the stew. So that's looking really good. Pop that to the side. I'm going to move my tofu. And then the final side dish to show you is the garlicky greens, which again, the inspiration recipe for this came from Tayana, and it's a really, really simple recipe. But again, you know, those vegetables on the side that are part of school lunch, which are generally not always, but you know, just boiled. It's just thinking about a different technique, a different way of cooking them, and just giving them a bit more flavour. And so what I thought this was such a brilliant dish, and it's so tasty. So I've got shredded kale here. Now I think it's a different green that they use in Brazil, but I think this is probably the closest thing that we kind of would have to it. And again, kale's just really nice to use. You know, it's got a great texture. So I'm going to put my large kind of wok frying pan on. And a splash of oil in the pan. And I'm going to basically just start off frying lots of lovely garlic, the garlicky greens. And then just stir fry the greens in it. So they cook down, and then and serve that. So the greens obviously will reduce a lot. Let's give myself a little bit more heat, but they just have that really nice garlicky taste through them. And you know, we see garlic bread on the menu a lot.
That disappears, doesn't it? As far as I'm aware, it goes, garlic bread.
Children like garlicky things. The garlic is a good one to use. So I thought this was just a really nice, really simple technique. So just getting the garlic heated, not too brown, not too crispy, and then in goes all of the greens, and they're just gonna just take a minute or two to kind of cook down to stir fry. So I'll just leave those to do that. Got my cloth, give a quick write down.
Brilliant.
And I'm going to just show the final dish, which again, very simple, but just actually perfect for school lunch. This is from Innocent and Tayana as well. Dessert, what do you serve? You serve dessert in your countries, and they serve, of course, fresh fruit. Innocent suggested some fresh watermelon. There's a lovely slice of fresh watermelon, and Tayana fresh orange slice, and that's dessert. So I think again, just really nice to see how simple that is, and actually, just perfect at the end of lunch. Those greens are just covering that over. Really, it only just takes a minute. And I'm probably going to just turn the heat off now and just let them wilt down.
That's definitely half the size it was.
Yeah, I know, it does really reduce. But yeah, they just need like a little that pop of green on the plate. I'm just going to chop this up. Hopefully do this.
Steady, Polly. You don't rock
Okay,
me.
beautiful, and it's just so colourful. No, don't want any accidents.
Oh, that's gonna look
Okay, so
nice.
I'll pop this up to the side. Some lovely fresh slices. It does actually make my mouth water when I'm
Make
cutting
yours
it, because it
water,
is
Polly.
just so nice to have the lovely big chunks of fresh watermelon. What a lovely thing to have, and be able to just pick up, take out into the playground. And then same with the orange. Let's just do some of the orange slices. Okay, here we go. So that is our dessert.
Oh, it's lovely.
There we go.
Really,
Okay, I'm
really
going to
quick.
now start to plate up our stews so you can see the final dishes.
Louis asked, I hope it's Louis, not Lewis. I'm concerned. But anyway, I'm so sorry if I've mispronounced it. Louis has asked, are both the dishes served with rice too? Or
Okay, good question. Yes, so today I'm serving both of them with some brown rice, and the recipe from Tiana was with white rice cooked with a little bit of onion through it.
Mm.
And I don't know, Innocent, if you're still there, if you would mind just talking a little bit about because you did say that serving this stew with rice is something that you would do, but you also have different breads and things that you serve with. I don't know if you're still there, Innocent.
Thank you. Yeah, we mainly serve it with rice, but then it also goes well with the we call it posho, and some call it ugali, but I can basically say it's maize bread. So you get maize flour and then make some bread, and then and maize bread is basically the major food served in most schools, because maize is really affordable here. So most schools would eat beans with that. But then because of change of meal, we tend when we are doing meal testing, we use rice. But then you can as well use bananas, which we call matoke. So these are green bananas. So it's best served with those. If it's also possible, mashed potatoes can as well work. So any foods that you think go well with beans. But my recommendation would be for school would be rice, would be the maize bread, because these are foods that children tend to enjoy. Thank you.
Ooh,
Brilliant.
thank you for sharing that. I would actually love the stew with mashed potato. I think that would be really delicious to have that lovely like creamy coconut sauce and then some nice mashed potato as well. But yeah, I'm going to plate them up just with some brown rice.
Whilst you're doing that, just so I get the chance, put the 20th of April in your calendar, everybody, because next time we're going to have a workshop on understanding processed and ultra-processed plant-based ingredients and their role in school with Annalena, our expert on the subject. Final fourth poll question whilst you're plating. Shall I do that one now?
Yes, please.
Are you inspired to offer some plant-based meals for International School Meals Day next year? Do you feel that you might give that a go? I need a drum roll effect. Oh, 88%, yes. And not really 13%. Not quite there yet. If you're in the group that's not quite there yet, do let us know what would hold you back. What do you think to the children? What would hold them back and what would hold you back from maybe thinking about offering a plant-based option like you've seen today? Let us know. We really want to know what you think.
Hey, well, it's great to hear that so many people would
do it. Yeah.
Go. And like I said, it is the perfect opportunity to really get to get everybody behind the dish and the excitement of the day. So I'm going to bring these up for you to see, but they smell so good. This is our amazing Ugandan red bean and coconut stew with the carrots and peppers and tomatoes, and then kind of like in the photos, I've done it with quite a lot of the sauce, so it all soaks into the rice, and it's just really gentle and creamy and delicious. So that's like Ugandan stew, and then we've got the Brazilian, the smoky black beans here, and I just actually used my potato masher to blend the beans and the pumpkin and the aubergine a little bit, so it all breaks down into just a really nice dark texture. I've got some of the crispy tofu with it, the garlicky greens and the tomato and pepper salad, and then our lovely fresh fruit plate for dessert. So there we go. Amazing. What a privilege to share these recipes with you, and I hope that that you're inspired to try some of them. Please get in touch if you'd like the recipes. So yeah, thank you so much.
Brilliant, Polly. We can all smell it. It smells great. Let's see. Louis has said, he said, sometimes on theme days, meal uptake can be more important than the quality of the meal itself. So you just want to make sure they're eating it. So yes, we need to find ways of getting them excited, but certainly look exciting, colourful, and amazing to link. Thank you so much, both of you, Innocent and Tayana, for your amazing recipes and participation in our special day featuring your dishes. It's great to make those worldwide links. And yes, let us know. Is it a challenge to get children to eat pulses and vegetables wherever you are? Do you find it at all difficult to get them to eat them? Because I think that, Innocent, would you say that's part of a staple food for lunch and they're eating them every day, so perhaps it isn't such a challenge there. Yes, we love to see more pulses on the menu. Let us know. Yes, so thank you very much, everybody. It's goodbye from us all, and see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Colette. Thanks, Polly.
Bye.
Please enjoy the food. I can see looks delicious.
I'm going to Polly's house now.